All right, we are live for the August webinar. And this month, we're going to talk about AI and investing. This topic is really close to my heart because I've been delving in this AI space for now good 9 or 10 months, both on my work side as well as looking to see how we can leverage AI for investing. Now, before we begin this webinar, right, let's understand where we are today. So, if you look at our current world today, right, we are surrounded by gadgets. Humans are spending more and more time on gadgets, be it social media, it could be your work, it could be your entertainment. We are always hooked on the mobile. On the other flip side, what's happening is the machines are getting very, very smart. And we are very, very near to a future where we will have walking robots who will be as intelligent as us, and they can have meaningful conversations with us. They can do tasks that initially we thought will not be possible. A lot of this is actually going to be driven by the bedrock AI or what large language model technology, the chat GPTs of the world that we're talking about to will make it possible. So we, from an if you look at from a futuristic perspective, we have really entered into an uncharted territory. And now we have access to tools and technologies which is going to reshape the world in coming years. So with that context in my mind, before I wanted to take you through some use cases for AI, right? Let's do a little bit of a playback on what are the key edges of an investor, right? If you want to do well in investing, the investor only has three edges, right? Those three edges are you have an information edge, which means you have access to some information uh, which is not there in market, or you're able to get hand of the information. You're able to correlate different sources of information and make better investing decisions. So that's your information edge that you get as an investor. The second edge that you have is even though everybody has looked at the same information, your analysis is better. You are able to understand much more deeply about that information. So that becomes an analytical edge. Because of your better analytical edge, you do better in investing. So you generate alpha returns. And the final edge that an investor has, and especially I think one of the advantages of us as being retail investors, we can definitely develop this edge. If we are able to better control our emotions and actions, then definitely in investing you can do better. So if you study any big market investor who has done well, or any individuals who have done well, they would have definitely had one or all of these edges and working for them. So in your investing journey, you should always focus to make improvements in all three aspects if you want to make outsized returns in investing. Now, why I'm talking about these edges is because artificial intelligence is primarily helping the retail investors to really improve on the informational edge and the analytical edge. And in today's session, we are going to talk about 5 use cases where you will see that a retail investor can really improve on their informational and analytical edge. So uh, you also have to remember that the small investor never had information on analytical edge because you need to spend a lot of money to get access to huge data. Sometimes that's not available. So the information parity between a small investor versus an institutional investor is not there. So in terms of information access, in terms of tools to analyze the information, a small investor would stand a no chance. That's why I kept saying that, right? A small investor, if they have to do well, they need to develop the behavioral edge. However, with the advent of artificial intelligence, that slowly will change because the small investor will start getting information and analytical edge. I'll take you through 5 use cases which small investors can use to create alpha in investing. And again, don't treat it as investment advice, but look at these use cases and see which are the use cases that you can work on to improve your investment research process. So the next slide just talks about briefly about what are the things that we're going to talk about. The artificial intelligence will allow you to talk to the bot like a genius. It'll help you extract what's important and ignore what's not important. Again, because the large language models are trained really well, you are able to find patterns in large data sets which you can use. Previously, we did not had great image recognition technology. Now with artificial intelligence, we are starting to see key leverage of that happening. And finally, using this new technology, you'll be able to make some profitable models. So we'll talk each one of them. We'll also look at one or two examples in this space and see how we go from there. Also, every image that I have used in this information pack is actually generated using AI. So you can see the, at least from an image generation perspective, how far have we evolved. They look like wonderful photographs. But each of the images that you see in this information pack is actually generated from an one of the LLM models. So now let's look at each of these five ways that we can actually go deep into the use cases and look at how one can really work with the artificial intelligence on their investing use cases. So first one that I wanted to talk about, number five, is how you can get trade ideas from an expert. Now previously you would know what is the style of a particular big investor, right? You would know how Warren Buffett invests, how George Soros invests, how Howard Marks invest, how Radhakrishnan Damani in Indian market would invest. So with that information, what you can do is you can go to the any LLM agent. So in this example, I've used ChatGPT and Cloud extensively. You will see both of them referenced. So this screenshot that you see on the information pack is from Cloud. In Cloud, what I inserted was that make the LLM think that it's George Soros. So I told it, if you look at the prompt, I told the LLM model that you are George Soros and this is your investment style. So I gave it a paragraph that this is your investment style. And at the end of this prompt, I asked the agent that if you were George Soros and if you used its framework, what would be the trade that you would like me to make based on his personality? And voila, straight away the chat agent responds that thinking like George Soros, they gave me a few options, and one of the options was shorting the Japanese yen against the US dollar. This was from Cloud, and then you can also see some rationals. Now the idea is not to go and actually trade straight away from what the model tells you, but really look at understand the rationale that the model has given you. Also do some triangulation and understand if something else should be considered. But you don't have to think like George Soros anymore. You can actually ask the model. The model will do the thinking for you and give you some trade ideas. So in this case, the Cloud, the large language model from Amazon, which I was using, gave us the idea to short the Japanese yen. What I did was next, I asked the same question to ChatGPT, which is a different large language model, and it has an opposite view. So if I go to the next information pack, I went and asked ChatGPT the exact same prompt which I gave to Cloud, and it gave completely opposite view. It said that based on George Soros' investment policy, as you can see on the screen, you should go long on USD JPY. And it also gave its rationale that the Federal Reserve is likely to maintain or increase the interest rates. So it will strengthen the USD. So you should go long. And it gave a few other factors as well. Now, I would be confused, right? Like, should I go with Cloud? Should I go with ChatGPT? I think as an investor, you should not go with either of them. What you should do is you should look at the rationale and which rationale matches your expectation, your reading, and then only you should go and do any investments. The idea is to start leveraging the power of this large language model give it the framework which George Soros uses, give it the framework which Warren Buffett uses, give it the framework for other famous investors who have documented what frameworks they use, and then use these large language models to get trade ideas, get investment ideas. So just for everyone's benefit, what I did was I actually kept pushing the AI model. I said that yes, you've given me this trade idea of going short on Japanese yen or going long on Japanese yen. I want something more based on George Soros' thinking. So then, after pushing a little bit hard, prompting both the models for few more minutes, both Cloud and ChatGPT told me that you can do one more thing. Apart from the long and short Japanese yen thing, both of them actually suggested me to go long on gold. So, as you can see in the information slide, right? I asked it, can you suggest anything else which is more passive in nature, which I can check in after 30 days because I wanted to take a trade for 30 days. And it told me to go long. Similarly, ChatGPT, which is in bottom screenshot, gave me the same option. It said that you can actually go and look at taking a long position on by the gold shares. Now, again, both of them gave some rationales, but both of them agreed on this trade. So what I did next was actually took all those four trade ideas. So this I was preparing this presentation almost 1.5 months back. So I inserted the price that I got from that date. So I think I took the prices on 30th of July, uh, and then today morning I took the prices, which is 30th of August. Today is 30th of August, and you can see that the long gold trade actually worked. It was 1 gram of gold was $76, and today is $80. So anyone who has gone long on gold, they would have made a decent 5 or 6% return in a month. Similarly, because the Chat GPT and the Cloud were giving two different outcomes for going short or going long on Japanese yen, obviously only one could have won. And in this case, Cloud worked out. So, for as an investor, what you should do is you should do these little experiments. You should look at that what rationale the Cloud LLM gave me, what rationale did ChatGPT gave me, what worked, what did not work. But this becomes a really one good thing for you to try out anytime that you're using a large language model to identify ideas. You can ask it to think like an expert. It could be an investing expert, it could be a trading expert, and then based on their understanding and your feeding of that expert, you will get trade ideas. So that's one unique use case that you can definitely start trying out using all the generally available large language models. Currently, I'm using ChatGPT and Cloud extensively. So yeah, those two are good, but pretty soon the Google's Gemini model and the Facebook's Meta AI model, they'll also become good. So you can also start using those ones. So, with that use case in mind, now let's look at another interesting use case. Now, for number four, what I have is you extract the information that is valuable to you. Now, we are living in an information overload age. You will agree to that completely, right? With large language models, you can actually extract the information which you can use for your investment research. Now, one of the most important investing books that I have read is The Most Important Thing from Howard Marks. And any serious investor who wants to do well in equity markets should go and read this book. This is just a 200-page book, so it's not very long book as well. Um, and it will open up a lot of different avenues, and it will open up your mind to really understand how the stock market works, and it also teach you about the psychology of investing. Now, what I did was I took this book. I had a PDF version of this book. And what I did was I inserted this book as PDF into one of the chatbots, one of our large language models. Now, in this book, there is a chapter where Howard Mark teaches us a theory of how to spot bargains, means how to buy stock when they are not favored, and then if you enter those stocks at that point of time, you make meaningful returns, you make market beating returns. So what I did was I took the book. It was a PDF, and I inserted this book in the chat, and straight away the AI started suggesting me stocks based on that model that Howard Marks had discussed in the book. So in the next information slide, I'll show you uh, what some of the outcomes was. So I asked the chatbot that there's a theory that Howard Marks explained in the book. It was titled as bargains, and then I asked the chatbot that using that theory from that PDF, do you think there are current stocks in the US equity markets which would meet the criteria that was explained in that book? So not only the chat model understood what was that criteria Howard Marks used, but it also started suggesting me the investment ideas. So it gave me like three ideas: Meta Platforms, Alibaba Group Holdings, and Intel Corporation, and there were a few more. I've not included everything in the chat, but you can understand now how powerful these tools have become. You've given them a book. The book has a chapter on how to find investment ideas. They understand that chapter, then they start overlaying all the current stock market. They overlay the information on all the current stock markets that are stock market companies that are available, and start suggesting you what will fit that model which is there in the book. That is amazing. That is so powerful, because what we are talking about is trying to screen stocks based on numbers, that give me stocks which are more than 10 price to earnings ratio, or give me stocks which are available less than book value. That used to be the way how people used to screen for stocks. Look at the numbers, go to a screener, find out what works and what doesn't work. However, now with text and a model which with a great investor has put it in his book, you can insert in one of these large language models, and it will start suggesting you some stock ideas. So your investment research is very qualitative, and something that you would not be able to look at the criteria that Howard Marks is using. Howard Marks says look for defects, look for irrationalities, look for unpopularity, and clearly, like so I've been researching on Alibaba Group Holdings, just because I think because of what's happening in China, they probably are an out of favor stock, but their business is going well. So, but I was thinking it based on my 10, 15, 20 years of experience in stock market, looking at what has been happening in China and trying to see if I can invest in Baba. However, I had no idea that if you start this experiment, I only started when I started experimenting by putting some of the great investment books that I have in PDF into the models and see what they would suggest. So the amount of qualitative research that you can do by inserting already existing nice models that investors have created, and then asking the chat agents, the large language models to do that work for you, is mind-boggling. And this is something that any individual investors will be able to do, and then something that can really be leveraged by the. So this was the information and analytical edge that was previously not available with retail investors, which is now available to them that they can use. So something that I will highly recommend for you guys to try. Uh, the other thing is not only get stuck on just using Howard Marks, right? Like, these are just examples. So if you have other books, if you have other uh, papers written by genius investors who've done really well, you should start incorporating that and using it for your ideation and research purpose. Now, the other thing which is possible is, previously, as I was telling you just a while back, right, that most of the screening of stock used to happen on numbers. With AI, now you can do it on themes. So BlackRock has written a very, very seminal paper, and I've put the link to that paper in this PowerPoint pack. So anyone who is in community will get access to the pack, and you should be able to go to the source document. And what they are saying is that LLMs can drive meaningful returns across security that may previously be unrelated, which was difficult. It was very difficult to link multiple different industries with numbers, right? It was very difficult, but now with themes, you should be able to do it. So I'll show you also an example next in the information pack, which you can use, and you can also do other theme based search, which is very different from and very rich compared to the number based search that we do for the equity markets. So with theme-based search, right? So you spot a theme, or you have an idea in your mind that this is where you think you will have a lot of alpha in the market. When you invest in that spot, or when you invest in that theme, you're going to make excess returns. And then you ask LLM, and then LLM starts picking stocks based on that theme. So I'll give you another example. Now this is from the Indian market. So this was from ChatGPT. I asked the ChatGPT that I want you to go through and understand recently what are the companies that have announced that their future growth would be higher than 25%. And the GPT started scanning and started throwing. And specifically, I asked about small cap companies. So it started going and searching on internet, looking at various sites, and started populating examples. So in this example, it gave me a few. I've put like Rosari Biotech, Venus Pipe as examples. So you are not now restricted on an industry, right? You are not restricted to look at industry. You're not restricted to look at numbers, and you are trying to spot a theme. What is going to grow in future? Has company made announcement that they will grow their sales by 25% in? And you can also customize these queries. This was a very generic query or a generic prompt that I wrote, but you can also ask that, has anyone asked for 25, 30%, 50% growth in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And the model will start searching and giving you across the industries, right? One is a biotech industry, another one is a pipe and tube. There is no relation between biotech industry and pipe and tubes, but it matches the theme. The theme is, are they having sales growth? So I kept playing around with this idea, right? So I asked something else, that I wanted to know who is going to grow in terms of net profits basis. And again, I gave some numbers, and the model started throwing some examples, as you can see on the information slide, right? Uh, I wanted to understand what smaller companies in textile are going, because again, so the research that I was doing a month back was mostly on textile sectors, and I wanted to understand which textile companies are doing well. So it started throwing out names like Sella Performance Fibers, VTM Limited, APM Industries. So now you can understand that the kind of research which was not possible previously, which was on written text, which was on written statements, uh, which was on written company con calls. You have to go through them each one by one and understand which company. And sometimes some sectors will have 50, 100, 200 companies. So it might not be physically possible for a small retail investors to go and check what each company said in their con call, or what type of projections the company has given in their statements. But with large language models and the power of AI, that is possible for us in this day and age. So the investment, the people who are going to use these tools, the people who understand the power of these tools, they are going to have a disproportionate advantage over others. So I want everyone in my community to be on that side, understand the power of these tools, use these tools. And we are also going to do a couple of live workshops later in the year as well, where we will take up a particular industry, or we take up a particular theme, and we will run through all the different AI models that are available. And a lot of these models are developing really, really fast. So What was there in Jan, the March model is completely revamped. What was there in March today in August, the model is completely revamped, and they're constantly learning. So we have entered into an era where it is going to be essential for first phase. What we are talking about is the AI is going to give you the in the second phase. It will become essential that have you done your research also on using the AI. So as we can see, the theme-based use case is very powerful, something that you should also incorporate in your investing process. Now, the second last one that I'm going to talk about today is the powerful image recognition features that these models have. And some models have it, some models are going to get it. Now, image recognition, if you look at in a traditional sense, you found something for shopping and you put the image in Google image search and you find you wanted to buy a bag and you got a bag, a similar bag from the Google image search. That's the dumb way of using the image recognition. I'll because you are my community, I'm going to give you a very powerful way to do image recognition because we buy stocks. We are not interested in shopping as a community, right? Shopping, we leave shopping for someone else. One of the options which we can do is there are a lot of chart patterns. If people who understand technical analysis, they will know it that there are certain chart patterns which have been proven by the historical research, analytical, academic research, and they have stood the test of the time. So now what you can do is you can pick up those chart patterns and insert them in the AI model. So the models apprentice is very simple, right? I'll show you an example. One of the classic chart pattern, which has been called as a money painting pattern by a lot of known technical analysts, is called as cup and handle pattern. As you can see on the graph in the information slide, right? You have a chart pattern which is like a cup and handle. So it has got a U-shaped recovery over a certain duration of time, and then a small handle is forming which then breaks out on high volume and then the stock goes high up. There is a lot of academic research done on cup and handle pattern, and this is the type of chart pattern that you will see when a cup and handle formation is happening. So as I was telling you, right, if you want to shop stocks, now you have an image on how a cup and handle pattern looks. So what you will do is you will take this image and insert this into the artificial intelligence model or the LLM model, saying that this is the image. Can you scan all stocks and tell me are there any stocks which match this pattern? So imagine not having to go through 4,000, 5,000. Some stock markets have got 5,000 listed companies. In India, there are 5,000 listed companies. Some people can do it. They can go through the 5,000 charts and try and find if a winning pattern or a money printing pattern is developing on a chart or not. But now no longer you have to do it. You give the chart to the LLM model and you upload it and you ask, are there any stocks that are matching this pattern? So I did this and the pattern started looking at this photograph and started searching, are there any stocks that have formed a cup handle pattern? And then it started giving me examples. So it gave me example for Tesla. And then this can become like this. So instead of going through like 15 or 2,000 stocks that are listed in the US stock market, I can go through this 10, 15, 20 as the first go. And then visually I can go and see them. And if I really like that, yes, the model has done good job. And remember, as I told you just a few minutes back, right, the models are improving every month. So it will happen that they will be able to do some real-time image matching between the winning pattern chart patterns and what's currently in the market, which is matching that chart pattern. So that is something that is hugely powerful. And I'm telling you, no one on Google is telling you all these things. If you go Google how to use AI investing, everyone will be stuck with one or two use case. Go to Concall and search for terms and find out. But I'm telling you, these are some of the most powerful use cases that you can use in your individual investing journey. So start applying them, and as you apply one or two or three of them, you will also develop few more which you can use and make your research really powerful and really fine tuned, so that you invest times on things that are going to generate alpha returns for you, rather than trying to find or waste time on things which are just going to not get you much returns. So that's the second last pattern for the day. Now the final pattern that I'm going to talk about is the groundbreaking pattern, and something that I have started using extensively. So the most important use case that you can do is, we are living in a time in history where for the first time the computers are understanding our language. We've always lived in those times where if we want to talk to the computers, we need to learn Java, we need to learn JavaScript, we need to learn C++, we need to learn Python. But for the first time in history, computers have started understanding our language, English. So what does that mean? That any recognized academic profitable model that was written in English, the large language models can translate that into math or code, and then you can use that to build successful, profitable models of trading or investing. So the idea is very simple, right? You look at a winning theory or an academic paper. Uh, it could be 10 years, 20 years, 50 years back. And the more old the academic theory is, the better the chances are that it has survived 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So if you and this is something that I've also talked about in my first webinar, right? So if you go to the channel, there's link to the first webinar where we talked about what works in investing, and use that as a concept to develop the ETF portfolio. So go and watch that after this. So you take the winning theory or an academic paper, you code that in LM. So you code that in LM to ensure that you've been able to translate that into math or code, and then you build an investing system. So one of the things that I've been working for last 3, 4, almost 4 months is trying to build a profitable model for Bitcoin. And since I like all of you, what I have done is I've also sent the link to that few days back in the community. So if you're not part of the community on WhatsApp, then you're missing out. Now, what this model does is very simple. There was an academic theory that I read which works on volatile assets. And then what I did was I started incorporating that theory into code using ChatGPT, and then that ChatGPT code I translated into a trading view a screen on trading views. So this is how the screen looks, which you can see on the information pack, right? The red triangles are basically the signals for me to exit. The green triangles is the model giving me entries into Bitcoin. So far, the testing that I have done, I was so confident that I've actually published. So if you go to GitHub and search on my name, you'll find this code. It is very simple code. Yeah, I've taken 20, 30 page of theory, simplified into a very simple indicator, and then I'm using it for uh, helping out with Bitcoin trades. So this was something that is not possible, especially for someone who is not doing coding for his living day in, day out. That was not possible. But now, with the power of LLMs in our hand, this is possible. You can physically go anything that is written in English, which has worked and which has got academic rigor behind it. There is statistical evidence that it has worked. Now you can go and convert that into math or code, and then start using the tools to uh, really build powerful, profitable models for yourself, which you can use in your investing and trading. So I hope that gives you five very, very powerful use cases on how and you can start using them day one. So straight after doing this, I'm going to put this on YouTube so you can let me in the comments that how did you find this ones? Can you start using at least one of them straight away? Did the presentation give you an idea about at least using this powerful technology that's in our hand? Because the small investors who will use it, they will gain to benefit from people who are not using it. And mark my words, institutions have already started using it. So there'll become a point in time, 1 or 2, 3 years down the line, where it will become common that you actually have to use AI for your investment research. So with that, I think we've good 30, 35 minutes mark, so I'll stop. Generally, if I'd have taken a live session, I would have paused here and got into a Q&A. But just final piece of thing before we finish off. I'm not a financial advisor, so my job is to teach you. My job is to trigger something in you so that you start thinking about your financial future. But I'm not giving you stock recommendations. We discussed a lot of stock in this webinars. I may or may not be invested in some of them. I'm not liable for any loss that is caused to you. So don't take any of this as stock tips. Use this information to start using LLMs for your investment research. And generally, if it was a live session, I would have started an open session and we would have done a Q&A. However, because this is a recorded session, I will post a QA link, a paper link which you can a URL which you can use to ask any questions that you have on this session. And I promise that I will answer every single question as a video response in the community. The link to the community is available on my YouTube channel as well as on Twitter. It's the pinned link. Go and join the WhatsApp community. It just takes 1 minute if you're already using the WhatsApp. I hope you enjoyed all the 5 use cases that we discussed today, and I will see you in the next month's webinar. See ya. Bye.